Good morning and welcome to Write with Rachel. I created Write with Rachel as a way that I could express myself creatively every day in an authentic and AI free way. Also, this channel is a way for me to do something I love daily. It also gives me an opportunity to connect with other people who want to establish a fun daily writing habit, to hold space for all types of writers by offering choice of media, choice of writing style, choice of what you want to write about. I am a lifelong journaler, a professional writer. I've been a mentor and a creative writing teacher. I'm almost 60 and I'm excited to welcome you to my channel. Let's get started with our prompt today. Our prompt today is called Finish the Story. In our story today, we have a character. We're going to call her Leanne. And Leanne is very miserable at her job. But she wants to make it through the next 6 weeks. So she's talked to her friends, she's talked to her therapist, she's talked to her family members, and they really don't have any more advice to give to her. So she starts reaching out to the pets, the plants, and the other things in her life. First of all, she reaches out to her cat, Whiskers. And Whiskers says to Leanne, when Leanne says, I'm so miserable, what should I do? Whiskers says, well, I'd start by knocking something off his desk, the boss. Small, symbolic, little acts of rebellion. Then she asks her plant, and her plant says, maybe you should start wilting slowly. Maybe you'll get a new pot and can put down roots somewhere better. And then she even goes and asks for a glass of Chardonnay. Breathe, chill out, start pouring yourself into something else. And if all else fails, there's always bring Chardonnay to work day. So these are our three prompts that we can choose from today. I'm going to shuffle them and then I'll pick one and we'll go with that as our next step in finishing the story. You can see I've recycled some of our other prompts from other days. And I'm going to shuffle these about. And let's pick this one in the middle. And we have Whiskers. So we have Whiskers. We're going to be having a conversation with the cat today. Now, today is the day that we also bring in sound as our second part of the prompt. So I've put together 3 cards with sound. We have a phone ringing, glass breaking, or fingers tapping on a keyboard. All sounds you might hear in an office is what these have in common. I'm going to shuffle these. Again, recycling. And let's choose the one over here on this side. And the sound we have is glass breaking. So now we have our cat and we have glass breaking. So let's start by coming up with some different ways we can interpret this as a journaling prompt. You can journal about if you've ever had a cat. Did your cat ever break anything? If you've had a cat, did you ever talk to your cat? Did you ever feel, because your cat probably didn't actually talk, that your cat would give you advice? And if so, what do you think it would have been? Did you ever have a day where you felt somewhat broken and you reached for your cat. It doesn't have to specifically be a cat, perhaps it's a pet or maybe even a stuffed animal. Something comforting to help make you feel better. Let's also consider, since we're thinking auditory, let's think about that sound. Just that sound of glass breaking. Just take a moment and think about what that sounds like. When you hear that sound, does it startle you? If you heard it breaking unexpectedly, would you jump like a cat? How do you react to those types of startling sounds? Let's say you'd like to go in a list making direction, which is another great way to journal. You could make a list of things that cats could break. You could make a list of sounds that you associate with glass breaking. You could make a list of sounds of glass breaking that may startle people. For example, let's say you're at a restaurant and you hear someone drop a tray and everyone turns to look. You could make a list of advice that you think a cat might give someone in the position of our character. Besides knocking things over, maybe you could make a list of things like, don't worry about it, just stay home and sleep, find a sunny window at work, um, make a growling or hissing sound if your boss gets too close. Let's say you want to go with the wild card option. The wild card option is always your decision, completely your choice. I encourage you to consider anything that came to mind when I talked through the prompts. Perhaps you would like to go in one of the other directions, perhaps with the direction of the plant. Maybe start wilting slowly. Maybe breathe and chill out. Might be interesting to have a conversation with a glass of Chardonnay. You could also use one of the other sensory sounds in your story, maybe the startling sound of a phone ringing, or perhaps the sound of fingers tapping on a keyboard. These would all be things you could include. Let's see what we can do with the idea of a creative writing story with a cat and a glass breaking. Let's say that we have Leanne and she asks her cat for advice. And Whiskers advises her to start with the knocking things off the desk. But Leanne doesn't really feel comfortable doing that herself. And the next day, HR, in an attempt to boost morale, tells all the employees at the office that it is bring your cat to work day. Just imagine what direction this story could go in. So you have many cats, and you have Whiskers, who decides to take charge, slip into the boss's office, especially after she overhears him in the conference room complaining that he is highly allergic to cats. So she goes into his office and makes sure that she has spread her lovely whisker fur all over his office, as well as knocked a few things over. When he goes back in, he starts sneezing and coughing, and at least he's out of the office for one day. But the next day, dot, dot, dot. So there you have a few ideas, different ways you can take this writing prompt. As always, I really encourage you to take the direction that seems the most interesting to you today. In a moment, I am going to ring the bell. The first 5 minutes, I will be drafting a short story and kind of talking out loud, going through my process. After the first 5 minutes, I will start a silent writing time. During that time, feel free to take a peek, take a look at what I'm writing. You can join in and start writing whenever you would like. If you're listening to this on the podcast, this is a great time to make some mental notes, write some notes down on paper, speak them into a voice app. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. So in this case, I'm going to actually switch the character. I'm going to switch the character to the cat. So we're going to have the story being told from the viewpoint of Whiskers the cat. I'm Whiskers, and I'm so tired of her begging everyone for advice about her job. Frankly, the only thing I care about is that she has enough money to buy me good cat food and the treats that I like, and to keep paying rent here at our home because I love this sunny window. But I think she's really starting to lose it. The other day, I heard her asking her wine glass for advice. So, unlike Leanne, who takes no action and only complains, I've decided to take care of things around here. What does that mean? Obviously, I've got to get her a new job. And what that really means is just more money. Now, Leanne, for all of her complaining, is not that dumb. She has this little business selling jewelry on the computer, but she only makes money when she gets the good stuff in. So I'm going to get her some good stuff. And she leaves. I'm going to go visit my good friend Ragdoll Ramona and promise her a pack of the good treats for access to the jewelry box. I'm sure there's some good stuff in there. This concludes the first 5 minutes of my writing time. I'm now going to flip the hourglass. We'll have 5 minutes of silent writing time next. And here we go. This is the end of our shared writing time. If you're in a good flow, I encourage you to keep going. I'm going to share the rest of my story with you. So we have our cat, Whiskers, and Whiskers has an idea that she can get Leanne to stop complaining about her job if she can get her a valuable ring to sell on eBay. Whiskers has a friend, the ragdoll cat, who lives in another apartment in the complex. This ragdoll cat has a wealthy owner, but the owner will not let her have the junk food treats that Whiskers likes. So, in exchange for the treats, Whiskers gets access to the jewelry box and she finds the ring. She sees a receipt and she's kind of like, oh, yeah, okay, this is going to bring a lot of money. Back at the apartment, she sees an incoming package. She switches the incoming ring for the ring she got from the ragdoll's home, and she does a switcheroo on the rings, sees that Ramona is still happily rolling around on the floor, loving those treats. She puts that ring in instead. Leanne gets home. She opens up the package. She takes a look at it, and then a second glance, she puts on her funny hat, which is has a magnifying lens. She gasps, "What?" She looks again. She tests it. Oh my God, it's 18 karat gold. Wow. Oh my God, she didn't even know. She couldn't tell that in the picture. She photographs it. She lists it. She gets a bid right away. Whiskers is thrilled. Problem solved. Now they'll have enough money. Leanne can quit her job. Everything is fixed. But later that night, there's a knock on the door. Leanne opens it. She's sleepy. There are red and blue lights. The policeman says, "You're under arrest for stealing the ring." As Whiskers watches the policeman taking Leanne away, she thinks, oh well, at least she doesn't have to go back to work. And that's the end of my story for today. If you enjoyed writing with me today, I would love to have you come back and join me again tomorrow. I hold these writing workshops every day during the weekdays. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so we will be rolling the dice. Thank you for writing with me today, and I will see you again tomorrow.